Hi everyone. Okay, as you can see from the title, we just say that Africa believe in change, but not at a high cost or high price. What that mean? What we have seen this past month or few months, there is a type of change is happening in so many countries right there in Africa. There is a lot of motivation among the young people who want to switch, getting away from France Africa. You know that system. So that system is based on protecting dictatorship, promoting ethnical group in power, supporting military regime and power, right? And spoliation of natural resources. And most of this benefit is going toward the French people. So there is an exchange here of natural resources is being provided by the French group or French big corporation, and on exchange of that, the French are providing a kind of protection, like international protection, related to blood crime or financial crime, right? So this is what we call France Africa. France Africa. France Africa is based on highly interest that French big corporation come in Africa. They get into deal with a group of people and they try to protect these people in power. So it's kind of like business is getting in a relationship with the political regime in power in France or political party, all of them gonna get together. They try to support one regime, one man, one family, one ethnical group. In exchange of that, the French will benefit from the mineral. This could be oil, gas, raw material, and so on. And the benefit of all of this, like the multinational French corporation is doing all of these businesses, they don't pay taxes to that country, right? And if there is any resistance that could happen from the population because of social life will is getting to worse condition all the time, right? Sometimes people can protest. So every time people are protesting, they're being bullied, they're being, some of them get killed, some of them get beat up, some of them get put in a jail, right? And all of this crime is being guaranteed by this multinational that belong to the French. And then nothing's happened like any kind of human abuse, nothing is happening outside. So the regime in power are being protected by the French corporation. The French multinational are using politics, right, the politician to do that. That's why you see like every time there is like a big French corporation in one of the country right there in Africa, these the people in power always they get away of any kind of human right abuse, all of any type of crime that can happen. And this is the case that you can see in one of the entities called Congo Brazzaville, right? With the guy like Sassou Nguesso, Nguesso Mathurin Albert, alias Sassou Nguesso Denis, with the civil war he created, how he's been killing the owner of the land, the owner of the natural resources. And this is since he came to power by coup d'etat. And the French was involved in that coup d'etat so they can bring that guy in power because he's the player. And this is the case that we have seen, like there is so many crime are being committed, but there is no any lawsuit against the Sassou Nguesso regime, against the military, his relative that's been doing all of this crime, either blood crime or financial crime. And because of that, there is a kind of a revolution, we can call it, is happening right there in Africa. So many countries do not want to cooperate anymore with the French. And you also have to remember there is a currency that so many countries use right there in Africa, like CFA money. There is in a West African country and right there in the Central Africa country. But both are the CFA money that is being controlled by the French bank. But if you are using the CFA money in a West African country, you cannot exchange that with the CFA money right there in the Central Africa. As you can see that this is a kind of a real thief mafia system that the French has put in place so that they can, they can squeeze the economical of the people right there in this country that are using this kind of money. The people are using the country that are using this currency. So this revolution is now keep going, keep coming up. We have seen that in the center of Africa and the Central African Republic with President Ouattara. They went to find a different leadership, a friendship, cooperation, bilateral like contract with the Russian. We have seen that right there in Mali, and we are seeing it also in Burkina Faso is going on. But there is something that we have that we try to address here. We try to push very far our thinking. We try to push very far our thinking. As you can see, like this phenomena is happening in a very rapid way. In a very rapid way. So many countries are moving forward to a different leadership. But personally, I have a feeling that there is a game is being played beyond door. And this game is Macron Emmanuel is playing a huge game that so many of the allies they do not know what is happening in reality. I'm gonna try to express myself very clearly so you can understand it properly. When you take the case of the Central African Republic, it is Emmanuel Macron who asked President Ouattara to go see the Russian for the assistance. So the French could not help the Central African Republic, but they're sending the president to go see the Russian. Between you and I, something is fishy, right? The Russian came, they took over, and the French are kicked out. We have seen that also in Mali, in Burkina Faso, in so many countries right there in Africa. My understanding is, knowing the French, I do believe that there is a kind of game is happening beyond the door. And what is the game? Macron is double dipping. Macron, Emmanuel, is double dipping. Is double dipping. So what is the double dipping of Emmanuel Macron? When he's in the front of everybody, the Russian is the enemy. President Putin is the enemy. Wagner is the enemy in front of media, in front of everybody. But beyond the door, there is a deal is happening because the French have lost ground right there in Africa. When they have lost the ground, for them to survive, they try to find a different partner who is gaining the ground in Africa, the partner that has a lot of support from the young people, from the community. You understand what I'm saying? And who is that partner? That partner is the Russian. Because the Chinese the Chinese, they came to make a deal there, right? The Chinese, they come in Africa in the front of the French, and they've been doing businesses. When you see like in right there in Africa, beside each Chinese big corporation or company, there is in parallel, there is a French contractor is there. So they're working together, you know, they're gaining businesses everywhere. Beside every Chinese company, there is a French company. That was what is happening right now. Now, there is the Chinese are losing their influence in Africa because they don't pay well. They don't treat people with, dignity, right? And young African, they don't like the Chinese, the way the Chinese are treating them, right? And these are making the Chinese totally unpopular right there, right? Now, the French are thinking very much. For the only way to survive is to find a different partner uh, who has a lot of support among the young people. Who is that partner? Is the Russian, is President Putin. So Macron is playing a dangerous role, right? Beyond the door, he has signed the contract. I'm pretty sure that's my personal opinion. But you know what? I just want to thank God because God sometimes show us things in advance than other people. And that's the feeling. Because the way we can see this change, rapidly changing, the Russians are taking over, and all of media are being concentrated only against Wagner. This is sign is saying that Macron is beyond this. So Macron is playing with these allies, the United States, the European Union, but beyond the door is signing a deal for the French cooperation. So he's trying to use the Russian as a front row. The Russians are in the front, but the French are hiding beyond the Russia. That's the feeling that I have. As you can see that when Macron was in Cameroon at that time, and Sergei Lavrov, which is a foreign minister of Russia, came to see Nguesso Maturin Albert alias Sassou Nguesso Denis. And Lavrov went to see Sassou Denis on his village, which is in the north over there. His village is probably 45 minutes or 1 hour if you flew from Douala to Sassou Denis village. Do you think that Emmanuel Macron did not go to meet Lavrov during that night? Lavrov came, he spent the night right there in the Sassou Nguesso village. Why? And, we need the change. I'm pretty sure we need a change, right? But the change should not be at any price, at any cost. I'm so happy to see the Russian helping African. But the Russian is not paying too much attention to dictatorship right there in Africa. If it is like the regime, like a new regime, like in Mali, yeah, we can understand that this is a new regime. You have young people are taking over. They're trying to bring a change in the country. They're trying to develop their country. That's fine. If we try to see also the change in Burkina Faso, that's a new regime. This is the young people are taking over. They want to develop their country. They want to create a great partnership, a change that we can believe in, right? But when you come to Sassou Denis Maturin, I don't like that relationship between the Russian and Sassou Denis Maturin. What does that mean, right? So, you know, really, I'm not a type of young African that can just come and support somebody and because I need help and then I will accept it right away. But I have to think twice, try to go over the shape and understand what is happening in reality. Because Macron is playing a dangerous role on double dipping. So he's with his, his allies, the United States. During the day, he's telling them, oh, we are losing ground in Africa, the Russians are taking over. But when you come to night, he's behind the phone, he's talking, he's dealing, trying to push forward the agenda of the French cooperation, you know, right there in Africa, signing a deal beyond closed door, right? Are you trusting Macron? No, I don't trust that guy. And I do believe that even you guys, if you are European or United States or wherever you are, G7 or Canada, just try to investigate yourself. You will understand what I'm trying to explain here. Macron is double dipping, is dipping here to the United States of America, is dipping to the European Union, is also dipping in the Russian plate, is double dipping. In reality, if the Russians are coming to help African people, the Russians have to put on a table the situation related to the dictatorship that is happening in a certain country right there in Africa. That issue must be addressed clearly, right? And we have a kind of feeling that the Russians are ignoring this part of the equation, or you cannot ignore this part of the equation. So this dictatorship, these people in being in power for so many years, so many decades, they have stolen the money of their country. They have put their country in poverty. They have destroyed the education system, healthcare system, even a government. There is a lack of transparency when you come to deal with the budget, all of this financial system, and they have still so many billion of dollars of the money of the country that they're hiding overseas, right? And the Russian cannot just come and say, okay, since you were under the French leadership, now we're kicking the French and we keep going with you. You're going to become our partner. We're going to do business. No, shouldn't be like that. Right? So this is like, I have a feeling that whoever were in a dictatorial regime, that regime is being saved by the Russia, because it's going to be just easy for these people to move, right? To say, okay, uh, we're getting away from the French. I'm going to the Russia. Right? It's too easy. But they will continue to do that. They will replace themselves by their kid, their nephew, their family, their relative, and they will still getting the protection from the Russian, and the people will still be suffering. The condition of life will remain the same. You understand what I'm saying? And this is the case for the entity that's called Congo, especially for with the individual like Sassou Denis Maturin, Guebso Maturin Albert, and he knew that he's not on his territory. The territory belong to us, the Congo. The natural resources belong to us. You know, the land belong to us, right? And the Russian cannot just come, okay, I'm gonna deal with Sasu, and then no, it shouldn't be like that, and we don't like it. And the Russian must understand what we are trying to explain here. It's like the Russian has become the savior of the dictatorship right there in Africa, right? No, my understanding here is there is a double dipping coming from Macron Emmanuel. Macron Emmanuel is playing a huge role to push forward the Russian agenda so that he can hide beyond the Russian. In the meantime, he's lying to his allies, like the US, the European Union, Canada, Japan. They lie. He's lying to them, right? Right. So, and you know, if you are a Congo, if you are really, if you are a son of Congo or a daughter of a Congo, you have to ask yourself a question: why the Russians are getting close to Sassou Denis Maturin? Which is game is that? Doesn't make any sense, right? Why Lavrov gonna come? He spent all night there. They put in place a kind of a group of individuals are working together for what? To do what? No, we do not like it. Right? We do not like it. But what I'm trying to explain here, my point here, I want to explain to the United States of America, Canada, the European Union, African country, Emmanuel Macron is double dipping. Emmanuel Macron is pushing for the Russian agenda by trying, in front of everybody, by trying to withdraw from Africa. But in the meantime, they are still beyond the Russian in the front line, because this is a new leadership, the new leadership that everybody like, the young people like, and they welcome the Russian, but beyond there is still the French. And who's going to be winning? Macron will be winning, because beside a Russian company, it will be a French company, like they did with the Chinese. And that's the same game that the French was playing with the Chinese right there in Africa. And when it comes during the day, Macron will give some instruction to the new French newspaper so they can come and hammer on the Chinese. But they never mention every company that are working beside every French company. And we have seen this process it's in acceleration right now. It's moving very quickly. And now it's now Russia, right? And again, to the Russian people, to President Putin, we don't like, the way you coming easily, getting close to dictatorship like Sassou Denis, like Obiang Gema, no, shouldn't be like that. These are all systems. You cannot pretend helping African under this regime. It doesn't make any sense, because this regime are there to steal the money, to make the people suffer. There will be no change at all, right? Or people need a change. Like, I agree that if you go to Mali, that's a new regime. And we can see the motivation, the intention of this new leadership in Mali. They want to build a country, want to provide the job to their citizen, provide a better life, at least to try to change so many things, That's good. And that's also, we can see the intention of the young guy who took power right there in Burkina Faso. But how about your presence to Sassou Denis Maturin? You know better that guy. And we did not like it. We cannot appreciate that. And we don't want that game. If you are coming to us that you're gonna become a good partner, but beyond the door, you're signing the deal again with the French, with Macron. So Macron try to survive again on our back. No, it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be like that. So what I try to say here again, here my message is mostly to the United States of America and the Russian, to President Putin. If Macron is signing, convincing you beyond the door so he can be beyond the Russia right there in Africa, you have to stop it right away. That's the first point. Secondly, you should not be the savior of the dictatorship of criminal regime, dictatorial regime right there in Africa. Like Sassou Denis Maturin must go. The regime of Sassou is a colonization regime. Sassou is a spy, is a French spy. Sassou Denis Maturin is a French spy, right? And you know better that he's not on his land. No, the land does not belong to him. He's a foreign guy, right? So the owner of the land, the owner of the natural resources are us, the Congo. We are under colonization because of Sassou, because of the French. So you cannot come make a deal with them. Doesn't make any sense, right? So I know that the situation in Mali is different, probably different also in Burkina Faso. But in our case, we the owner of the land, the owner of the natural resources at the Congo, we don't like it. And we are very clear, right? So if Macron is making the deal beyond the door, you must stop it. Help the French to get out. Let kick them out of the African territory in the truth way. No deal beyond the door with the French. Secondly, you should not be the savior of the dictator right there in Africa. No. That's we are very clear with the Russian. Right? And deal with the owner of the land, like in our case, the Congo Federation. That's for the Russian. To the US, the European Union, Canada, Macron is double dipping. Macron is a traitor. He's a traitor. He's betraying you. Because beyond the door is dealing with Russia, and when he's with you, Russia is the enemy. No, you have to understand what I'm trying to say. Put your own investigation, you will find out. Let then help the French. Let then kick out the French from Africa. The US should help us by, helping us to get away from the CFA money, so we can, we can make the French scramble with their economy, because they've been stealing for so many years, so many decades. This is the time to end this. He's betraying you. Macron is a traitor. He's betraying you. I'm telling you again, Macron is a traitor. He's betraying you. In front of you, Russia is enemy, but beyond door, Russia is a friend. That's what Macron is doing. You can see, you can see how this process is going very, very rapidly, right? How it's going very rapidly. That's the deal that Macron is making beyond the door. Let them squeeze the French, let kick them out from Africa, and we can go back to business as usual with respect, dignity, and move forward for a new project. God bless you. God bless the Congo people. God bless African people, especially for the young African who can understand what I'm trying to say here. I wanted to try it in English. It's so hard. I'm trying so that you can get it. My English is not perfect, but I'm trying. I hope you have get my message. Next time we will talk it in French, probably tomorrow. Have a good night. God bless you. Mukongo, kekilemba nzao, mukongo, kile kong ditadi, kong ditadi. See you next time. Bye-bye.